Hello, one and all. God, so many people on the chat. LP Chips, Savach, Shargo, Ziona, some ugly dude named Gazoo, and Raspor as well. Joining us on Plan Mix Play for the second of two shows going on. People popping on and off. Appreciate LP Chip highlighting that Plan Mix Play hasn't quite caught up yet. It will get there soon. It doesn't always kick in right away. It has sort of a slight delay in its, detection. At the very latest, well, that's the thing. Usually around showtime, it should pick it up relatively quickly. We'll see how that goes. Stick around. It should get there. It will get there eventually, I promise. Anyway, hello. I'm Gazoo. It's PMP versus the evening for you. It's the morning here for me, and I've got a bunch of tunes. I've got some requests. I will monologue a little bit. And I thought we'd start off with a request. I thought we would start off with Shargo requesting a bit of Uridium from Lichtstr, LCLHSTR. Because I've got something special lined up for him, just because he requested Uridium. So if I click this and I click that and I do this, yes, there we go. Again, I do hope that the video on PMP pops soon. Again, the website, yeah, I can see it's still a bit, it's still not doing what it's supposed to. I'll see what I can do about that. Bear with me. Let's have a taste of Uridium from Lichtstr, requested by Shargo. So thank you much for requesting that. I know that things at least work in general. So yeah, even if it's a bit janky now, we'll get there in the end. So again, take it away, Lichtstr with Uridium. And there we have a little bit of I keep wanting to say like Liechtenstein or something like that. LCLHSTR with Uridium. The local LFO knob mix requested by Shargo. So thank you very much for requesting that. And also, I just realized there are a couple of things that aren't working the way they're supposed to. For some reason, PlanMix Play isn't updating the stream titles. So bear with me while I just write in LSS. Oh yeah, that song is totally playing now. I've gathered a big list of bugs that I need to take care of after the show, because there's a bunch of stuff that isn't working the way it's supposed to. But I think Shargo asked, who was it? Yes, no, LP Chip. LP Chip asked the gameplay footage where that's from. That is me. That is me fluffing about in Uridium, and hopefully you'll notice that after a couple of playthroughs, I actually do get better at it. I think I even get to the third ship, I think. And it's like, so the version that I have, which is of course totally legitimate, has a bit of like backstory in front of the game appended that I didn't know was part of the game. And apparently the whole story of Uridium is that these big, huge, like, behemoth ships that you're fighting have arrived on planet Earth and each want to suck one resource out of the planet, which is why the first one says zinc, apparently. And then I think the next one is, like, copper and something else. So, yeah, that's the whole... Yeah, this is like the zinc ship. It's the one that's going to suck all the zinc out of the planet. Which, of course, makes me wonder, like, well, you know, where's the asbestos ship? What's the oil ship? It's not a very efficient way of really raiding a planet's resources, is just to get like one giant monster ship just to suck one resource. It's very inefficient, is what I'm trying to get at here. They should have been smarter coming up with that. And I like this footage so much that I think we're just going to play another Uridium song to go along with it. Also, I'm convinced that... Here's the thing. The way these playthroughs are recorded, actually let me put on this next song, because the footage is going to end pretty soon, and I'd rather play the song with the footage, and then I'll talk a bit about the recording of that video. So, gonna let Boz take it away with his remix of Uridium. Take it away, Boz. have to say, it does warm my heart to see you, LP Chip, helping me shill for my show as well. Yes, as I've said before, it does help out a lot to have people subscribe to the channel in case they either like the show, dislike cricket, or like Plan Mix Play, even as a software, which you can go and download. I'm working on it. It's a work in progress. I wonder if I can... See, this is the thing I should be able to do. So for people on the stream, let's see, hopefully this doesn't break. The interface looks a little something like... Drumroll. This. Not that busted, but what you're kind of seeing that's, not working quite the way it's supposed to is... you'll see the various elements that I put together. The interface is sort of, the text's not very readable. And this menu over here on the right, that's like moving left and right, that's pretty busted up too. Anyway, the point is, I have a bunch of visual elements. I have tracks over here that I can drag in. It looks way better on the actual screen that I'm running this on. That's a bit of a bummer that it's so busted when I show it here. But that's... Hey, you can't have everything. So, see, I'm going to shorten this because we're going to want to fade out this and go back to the cool C64 visuals. So let's just have that reach an end. And you'll see as we get this playback header gets to the end of that, it's going to fade out and we're going to go back to the normal. Yeah, see? There we go. Now you saw a little bit of behind the scenes for you there. Exciting, isn't it? I hope to show you more of that when I've unbroken a lot of the other stuff that's running in Plan Mix Play. But now you got a little bit of behind the scenes there for you. I want to talk a little bit about my experience with ordering my next laptop, because I've had a bit of a fun time with that. And but before I get to that, I will play another track, and I'd like to play a request, but I'm a little bit behind. So let's see what people wanted. Yes, I think we'll go with that. So hang on while I'm just gonna type out and find the song that has been requested. It just, consider your life choices as I look for the song. Man, I wish I had caught your comment in time. People will think that I'm paying people in the chat to say these things, where they're like, "It's simple, it's so easy to use." Can I? Oh, what are like good testimonials? It's like, I never thought I could live without it. That sort of, yes. Where are we? Yes, new 2. Here we go. So Ziona, who was also here last time, and we played a remix of hers as well, which was tremendous. She wants a little bit of Comic Bakery with Press Play on tape, because I believe they will be guesting Ziona and Slagon's show. I've seen Press Play on tape a couple of times live. They went to the same university that I went to, so I have, met them and chatted with them. No more than that, but it's good stuff. They do good stuff. I don't know how often they play anymore, but yeah, clearly talented dudes. Let's see. We'll get back to that one in a bit, Immortal. Let's play some Press Play on tape, Comic Bakery, Larger Than Pop Boy Band Mix. Coming up for you, Ziona.
Now is the time to say how much I really love you, baby. Show me the sign and I will stay with you all through the night. When we're apart, I spend each moment thinking of you, baby. You're in my heart. I always keep you close and hold you hold you because you look so fine, yeah. Let me tell you once more, you're the one I adore. You're my sweet 64. Now is the time to say how much I really love you, baby. Show me the sign and I will stay with you all through the night. When we're apart, I spend each moment thinking of you, baby. You're in my heart. I'll always keep you close and hold you tight, yeah.
A little bit of press play on tape with that there, Bruce Lee. And you're right, LP Chip, if you do refresh the page to see who's online in PlayMXPlay.com, the playback will stop. And LP Chip offers a bit of development advice on how to perhaps solve the problem with the users in the chat. Look, I don't disagree. That's the thing. The thing that is worth saying is that I have quite a few number of plates spinning in the air. So the most frustrating part about even simple fixes is, you'd be surprised, is that I haven't fiddled with the website in such a long time that it can take me upwards of half a day to remember how exactly do I properly log in, how exactly do I push a new version without breaking anything, how do I update things. That is the nightmare of being a single person. Like, it's having like multiple projects in the air means that whenever you let one go and don't come back to it for months on end, then you forget almost everything, and getting back into it is a heavy context switch. And that doesn't mean that, you know, these things can't be fixed and that I don't want to hear the suggestions, because I really do. Because I do want to make the chat on the site at least a little more tolerable. Like, I think with a few minor tucks and tweaks that that all you lovely people are suggesting, I think things could get way better. It's always a matter of prioritization. And as I mentioned before, I think I'm also pretty keen on hiring some help. But honestly, the sort of help I've been thinking most about hiring is people who can help create a few videos and promote PlanMXPlay as a software. And yeah, LP Chip chimes in and says, yep, as a PHP developer, I comment and write in a certain style so I can get into code easier. And I agree with that. Like, but even with that, even leaving helpful comments behind, that's the thing, you don't know what you don't know. So it isn't until you've let a project go and then come back to it that you suddenly realize, oh, frick, this thing that I was sure that I knew, on the back of my hand, I don't. So you really don't know. There are a couple of areas where you just don't know until you've let go that, damn, I should have left a better breadcrumb trail back to this sort of stuff. A little bit of dev talk for you. Yeah, I wanted to talk about my experience with getting myself what's going to be the new laptop. I should also mention that Immortal comes up with a great suggestion of just incorporating Discord. Yeah, I suppose to me it's like, it depends on how open Discord is, because one of the reasons I put in the chat on the website was because I could not easily, but I managed to integrate push notifications for the chat messages. And if Discord has an open protocol for how chat messages come and go, I have no issues with switching to that instead, to be honest. Like having the YouTube window open in one area and your chat open somewhere else. But yeah, that's again one of those, we've talked about this many times before. What big boat do you attach your projects to, right? You really shouldn't just you really shouldn't attach your work too heavily to one thing or another. And LP Chip says that Discord does have that. Yeah, maybe that's the thing. Like, it's worth investigating, because you also have to, you kind of have to pick and choose your battles. And I'd much rather develop Plan Mix Play than develop a chat interface. It'd be nice to have a cool one on the website, because I think it's nicer to try and get everyone to sort of congregate around the same thing. And once people have settled somewhere, it's harder to transition people away. But obviously, again, I only have a limited amount of time. So you kind of got to pick and choose, where do you want to put your focus, what's most interesting. And let's face it, chat interfaces have been done to death. Lots of competitors out there, and they have way more resources than I do and are way more competent at it than I am. So really, it was more a matter of, when I built it, I think I know that I don't want to go with the one in YouTube, because YouTube will very easily ban and get rid of you, and then you're done. And if you've built everything around YouTube, kind of fucked. All right, that's a lot of talk. I wanted to show some more footage. I also want to play requests, but I think a bit of footage first. And then I'll talk a bit about how I make it, because I think I've noticed an annoying pattern. I'm going to play you guys a little bit of Bruce Lee, and hopefully this recording went well enough. So this is me beating the shit out of the big green dude and the little black guy with a bit of Hazel and Bruce Lee Fists of Fury.
Records of Chinese civilization are legends. Legends of great warriors, of knights and wizards and mysterious monks who can perform wondrous feats. They had the power to fly and the strength to defeat whole armies. These fables thrived until about 100 years ago. And then, a new legend was born.
Yeah, and see here I'm just screwed, like I gotta commit suicide. Bah.
Empty your mind. Be formless, shapeless, like water. Now you put water into a cup, it becomes the cup. You put water into a bottle, it becomes the bottle. You put in a teapot, it becomes the teapot. Now water can flow, or it can crash. Be water, my friend. Water, my friend. Water, my friend. Water, my friend.
Oh yeah, the song ends there. Well, I feel like I don't know about you guys. Like, let me know in the chat, but I really enjoy watching this sort of footage next to the music just to get a sense of where things come from. So I'm going to take it away with another Bruce Lee song. This is Luke Hash, also with Bruce Lee, the YouTube video version, which is very appropriate. Right, fuck you, fucking ninja. Man, that audio lined up real well there. God, I'm really liking this Luke Hash with Bruce Lee YouTube video version. Like, I like this. This is watching myself play this game. It's like, God, look at those skills, jumping with that little annoying light thing moving. I mean, come on, guys, this is the pro moves. So the way this is all done is generally, the recommended way to deal with recording footage, at least for these sorts of games that you can record a cycle exact demo for is instead of recording the output of the video as you're playing the game, because that does put a strain on your machine, especially if you're doing what I'm doing, where your machine, the machine that's playing the game and the machine that's recording the game is one and the same. Some streamers or YouTubers or whatever have more money, so they would have two machines. They'd perhaps have one that's playing the game, piping the visual somewhere, and then another one that's recording those visuals. That's kind of the most... Yeah, see? I botched it. Oh, well, it was a good run. Anyway, so they'll have two machines, and they'll basically be doing one thing, or they'll be playing the game on machine A and recording it on machine B. I don't have that set up. It all runs on the same thing. And in that case, it's recommended that instead of kind of shooting yourself in the leg and both giving your computer the task of executing the game, reading your inputs, responding, as well as compressing video at the same time, it's advisable to use an emulator, if you're into that sort of thing, that records your inputs into a demo file. And then at a later date, you replay that demo file and then record the video from that. It has the decoupling those two things, as in decoupling the playing and the recording of the video, has the benefit that also if you figure out that you want to record the input in a different way or change the resolution or something, you now have that demo for all time. So I would say it's my recommended way of doing it. However, going through these videos now, I'm beginning to wonder if, in some cases, the demo isn't actually cycle exact, as in there'd be a slight off sort of trigger in terms of when the input is given when I played the game and how the input is replayed when the demo is being replayed. Because if there's a mismatch there, that'll, of course, kind of whack the whole thing out of gears, and... yeah, that'll sort of whack the whole playback out of gear, and all of a sudden your character will start jumping and responding to threats that aren't real, because your recording has sort of been messed up. So it only kind of works if it's cycles exact recording, or rather if it's frame perfect recording and frame perfect replaying. And if there's any inconsistency there, you're in deep trouble. And I feel like on some of the demos, I'm wondering if it's just me not having translated the latest demo, or if there actually was a problem. So yeah, we'll have to see what we can do there. Both, let's see, Immortal and LP Chip are chiming in with a couple of solutions that you can do. And those aren't bad. Even if you go with a setup where you have a seamless recording process of footage from whatever you're doing to disk, you still aren't decoupling the process of playing and recording stuff. And if you ever decide that you, again, want to change the resolution of what you're doing, or maybe some part, maybe the emulator has been improved or upgraded somehow and you want to re-record your playthrough with a different feature, you can only really do that if you do have that original demo file. But even the demo file can have issues with it. Maybe it only works with one version of the emulator and not a later one. So, yeah. I'd say each version has pros and cons. Right now, I've decided to try the demo thing because I had some export issues, and it was easier to just record it again and again. Yep, and as Slagon mentioned, stream it to another machine. And yep, that I would say would be that whole A-B computer setup where you play the game on computer A and you record it on computer B. Right, lots of tech talk, and we haven't even gotten to the goddamn Dell order that I wanted to talk about. So why don't I just play something... do I want to play this? What is this? No, I don't want to play that. I want to play... yeah, let's play this. I haven't played this in a while. I'll get on to the requests in a bit. In the meantime, let's play a bit of Last Ninja. I'm going to play TNT Last Ninja 2, The Basement. The Basement. The Basement. The Basement by TNT, with a bit of a troublesome, some troubles going on from Plamix Plays beat detection. For those of you who haven't noticed, and I bet many of you have, the tapes in the top left and right of the visual element should pop to beats. In fact, it's even on as I speak. So if I go, yeah, you'll see it'll actually shift back and forth as it's trying to sort of suss out a beat in my voice. Yes, LP Chip and Immortal, that's it's tricky. It's not easy to do good beat detection. Anyway, right, my experience. Let me talk just a few seconds about me trying to get some new hardware, because my laptop is old. It's like it has one of those cranks, on the side where you got to turn it and chug it up, and it goes like wee 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 wee. It's one of those old machines. My upgrade cycle for almost everything takes time. Like, I think I replace mobile phones every maybe 3 years or something. Laptop, this is almost the 4th year before I'm buying a new one. And I also take a long time to figure out what it is I want. And this time I've decided to go with an Alienware. I have once owned an Alienware before. The very first heavy-duty gaming laptop I ever bought was an Alienware. And I have to say, that was not a great experience. The decision from Dell to put in a discrete and a, what's the other one? I keep forgetting the other name, but there's a non-discrete. When it's not a discrete graphics card, it's called something else. Basically, it's sort of an on-chip one and a particular one in that sort of isn't part of... Yeah, exactly, dedicated. That's right. I think LP Chip. Thank you. Thank you very much. And they decided to go with one of each, because they were like, well, we want battery life as well, so we're going to put in a discrete and a dedicated one. So you'll have a discrete one from Intel, and you have the dedicated NVIDIA SLI graphics card. And that sounds good on paper, but what happened in practice was that Dell needed to fiddle with NVIDIA's drivers in order to make them work with this machine. So crazy fucked up and non-reference was the hardware that was in the laptop. So you would download the latest drivers from Dell, which very quickly went out of date. Like, they only, I think, provided updates for about 1 year. Over the course of a year, they put out 3 drivers, and I think NVIDIA over the course of a year tends to put out 8 or something. But at least you could keep semi-up to date. And then after that, you were fucked. Like, that was just the end of it. If you wanted to, and especially anyone who has used SLI cards knows that your driver needs to be handcrafted to detect if your game can actually use this SLI thing. So for any games released after that driver, the last one they put out, you could no longer play that game with the SLI. Like, it literally would not register as being capable to do SLI. So the only way to work around that was basically I had to get another machine that could install NVIDIA's reference driver, extract like a list of references, some text that's in their driver for SLI, and then manually cram that into the working Dell driver that I had. And it was a nightmare, to be honest. Like that, fortunately, those days are behind us. Gaming laptops these days all ship with some sort of reference design, so you can always use NVIDIA's drivers, which is, thank God, that's not a problem anymore. That being said, it hasn't been the most painless experience. Dell is one of those companies where if you look online, you'll find people really, really shitting on them online in reviews. And I will argue that for companies that are the size of Dell, you don't get to be as big or as prolific as them if you dump on every customer. Like, there's so many one-star reviews out there, and I'd argue that they are a small percentage. And that's not me saying that Dell won't screw you over. Like, don't get me wrong, they're still a business. Like, if they don't feel that they have any obligation to you, they may just yeah, turn the other cheek and be like, yeah, I guess, see you in court if that's a problem for you. So again, I'm not standing here and defending big corporations, but I'm also saying take 1-star reviews with a grain of salt, because they'll always come from the saltiest of customers, and there'll be plenty of salt when your customer base is big enough. It does not matter how kind of a company you are. People will basically order things on Monday and expect delivery by Tuesday with a blowjob. Like, people have crazy high expectations and entitlements and demands. And the short and half tedious story I'm going to tell you after the song hopefully isn't that entitled. Oh, and before I get into this next request by Shargo, I want to point out to another requester, the Sib. You have pointed me towards an XM song. And unfortunately, that's not something Plamix Play can deal with. So if you have an MP3 file of the song that you would like to have played and can point me towards that, more than happy to solve that, the Sib. But until then, sorry, can't play XM files. So instead, for now, we're going to play Mongo Erectus, Druid 2, just to be confusing. That's like, naming your song Druid 2 is sort of like the series, like Xbox. Like, holy... Sorry, no. We're going to have to postpone. I have to say just a few words about, like, Xbox. I'm pretty sure if I Google Xbox naming, it's ridiculous. Like, the naming convention of Xboxes. So, yeah, so the first Xbox was called Xbox. The second generation is called Xbox 360. Third generation is Xbox One. Here the confusion begins. And now it's Xbox Series X. Here's Mongo Erectus with Druid 2. And there we have a little bit of Mongus Erectus Druid 2-2 requested by Shargo. So thank you very much. Yeah, and apparently there's been a little bit of a mix-up with some requests, it would seem, gone missing. Who knows, not important. The most important thing is that they're here now. LP Chip, you wanted a little bit of Boulder Dash, and I don't know whether or not you were also the individual who helped request this as a potential good game to get a little bit of footage from, but I'm more than happy to line that up for you. Yesterday's listeners, or this morning listeners, will have seen a little bit of this, but, you know, it's a good game, so, God, and that metal and bricks, here's a bit of Boulder Dash, Rowley, Funky Pebbles mix. Yes, exactly, Immortal. Like, why are the metal plates fucking removable, but the bricks aren't? It's God, And that was Rauli with Boulder Dash, Funky Pebbles, and Immortal chimes in and says, I sucked at the game, did not have the patience to properly learn it. Look, my memory is that I think I played Boulder Dash 2 more, and as I mentioned on the last show, I think for the third game, they're like, we need to come up with something new here. We can't just, what can we do for a third one? And it seems to me, my theory is that they were just like, let's make it space themed. Like, sure, why not? But fucking, who came up with this idea that the diggable blocks should be fucking metal plates? And I think it was Shargo last time who said, like, well, it depends on what you're digging with a shovel or a blowtorch. And it's just the visual language of this game is just bad. It's just bad. Like, the dugout blocks are fine, and either the bricks are okay, or like either the bricks should be the metal plating, or the metal plating should be the bricks. But don't fucking have both. Even if the metal plates were the undiggable blocks, then digging through bricks is also stupid. Like, both of it is bad. Yeah, whoever shot at dawn is what I'm trying to say. Yeah. Anyway, but look, play Boulder Dash 2, I think, because that has, and maybe the third one has that too. At some point, one of the games has this sort of like weird, like growing organism, this blob on some of the levels, which goes like, and if you drop diamonds into that shit, it'll explode. And that was kind of fun. Like, I remember going to those like growth levels and trying to outrun that growing blob, and that was kind of fun. It's kind of like an early day. I almost feel like it's an early day Spelunky in a way. Boulder Dash 16, is that a thing, LP Chip? I feel like that's probably not a thing. And yeah, what is it with classic games getting remakes? Like, there's apparently Space Invaders 4 and 5 and 6, and there's Tetris 4 and 5. Even though apparently the latest Tetris, called the Tetris Effect, is a thing. And LP Chip says, yes, there is apparently a Boulder Dash 6. Well, there you go. Live and learn. I wonder, what platforms is that on, LP Chip? Is that a PC game? Nintendo Switch? What do we got? You tell us that. In the meantime, I will play a request that I have come up with, because I recorded a bit of footage for Montezuma's Revenge, and I then realized I did not have any Montezuma's Revenge remixes, and then I searched on RKO and also found that apparently there wasn't any Montezuma's Revenge remixes. I'm sure someone's gonna, in the chat going like, actually, Gazoo, there is a Montezuma's Revenge if you go to this website. It's like, yes, please, please tell me the website. I feel like I should have a Montezuma's Revenge remix, but I don't right now, so please enjoy this unedited Montezuma's Revenge footage with a little bit of defunk the second moment. It's a suitable song, isn't it? Yeah, just so anyone who's played Montezuma's Revenge in this bit, how the fuck do you get onto that ladder? There's no fucking way. It's impossible. Then we had a bit of defunk with the second moment, and yes, for the people watching the stream, you'll see me doing my very best. You're such a cheeky bastard, Slagon. You'll see me faffing about in Montezuma's Revenge, and you're right. It's this game is, I like it. From what I played of it, it's the sort of game where at least you get somewhere within your first playthrough. Like you know, as you can see, collecting keys and yeah, they're like, you don't feel completely helpless the first time you try it, and I really like that about the game. But there are certainly areas, the one you saw me grumble about, where I still don't understand how the hell you get up that ladder. I'm sure, or that's the thing with these old games, I can't even say that I'm sure it's possible. It may well not be. LP Chip, I was actually going to play your own self-plug immediately, because we're all about the plugs here, but unfortunately it's encoded in non-44.1 kilohertz format for MP3, which PlayMixPlay does not currently deal with. It should, it will, can't right now, so instead I'm going to fall back on playing The Dead Guys with a bit of Zach McCracken for LP Chip. The Dead Guys with Zach McCracken, and yeah, got to see a little bit of the neon visualizer that it has a few kinks in it. Like there are a few things going on. And then I also completely forgot that I had this parallax footage lined up, and so I was like, well, why don't we just stick with that, I guess. We'll have LP Chips Basketball Johnson coming up, but in the meantime, enjoy Andy UK with Parallax the Panthera remix. And there was a little bit of Andy UK with Parallax Panthera mix. And a bit of footage to go along with the game. To which Immortal asks, what's the goal of the game? And seizure-inducing intro notwithstanding, according to this Wikipedia article, the gameplay is stated is on a routine exploratory mission. 5 astronauts discover a friendly-seeming planet, hint, hint, run by an artificial intelligence. The inhabitants drop their pretense of friendship after the astronauts uncover a plan to invade Earth. 4 of the astronauts are captured, and the player takes control of the 5th, who must free his companions and stop the invasion. So, yeah, the goal of the game, in terms of a bit more explicit gameplay-wise, is you'll either be flying around in the ship as you're seeing now, or you will land, and you can take things with you out of the ship and enter these like little buildings where I think you get chips and some secret codes that you need to take to other places to get pieces of something. I'll be honest and say all I remember was that it was mind-blowing to me as a kid at the time that you actually got out of your damn ship and moved around as a guy. Like, I remember playing this game probably for... It wouldn't be surprising for me if it was upwards of a year and did not understand or realize that you could actually exit the ship. So that was mind-blowing. Parallax, of course, partially known for the fact that it had this multi-layer scrolling, parallax scrolling. And if I'm not mistaken, I think already I think there's already confirmation that sure enough this wasn't the very first game to feature this, but it was one of the most notable ones to feature this. And what I think is really interesting is when you look at the visuals, if we actually just go back a bit and have a look at, see if I can find somewhere where, there are places where you'll see, for example, here where the ship might be flying behind this blue stuff, and you'll notice whenever you see the ship flying behind this like surface level that it can go on, you'll notice that the ship doesn't... well, how can I say, it's sort of, see if I can't find where this is happening. Please bear with me while I'm looking around, because you'll kind of not clipping the way it's supposed to. Maybe back here? Yes. So you'll sort of see that the ship in some spots actually clips really well in between, and in some cases it looks as though the ship sort of isn't occluded properly. Like, this, unfortunately, isn't a great example, but those plus places, oh man, if I'd only flown over there, it's just, you can sort of tell that they had to do a bit of, smart graphical work. Oh, and LP Chip says I'm breaking up. Is anyone else hearing that? I shouldn't be. I wonder if that's me moving around. I'd be surprised if that's me sort of jiggling around with the video. That really shouldn't be causing that. And now LP Chip just says you. That's also good to know. It is me. Well, I'll be investigating that. Move on to this bit. Yeah, LP Chip, you requested a little bit of Magic Johnson's Basketball, a track you remixed yourself. Yeah, I'm gonna have to look into that. The me moving the video thing around shouldn't actually be busting up the audio. That's surprising to me. Gonna have to investigate. Anyway, here's a little bit of LP Chip with Magic Johnson's Basketball. Take it away. LP Chip with Magic Johnson's basketball, requested by LP Chip. Thank you very much. All right, I did promise in the show blurbs a little bit of a monologue, so before we get into this next request by Lord Evil, I'm going to keep you at the edge of your seats by not telling you what he's requested, but he has requested something, and it's coming up next. I was talking about my ordering experience with Dell. So I've ordered an Alienware machine, and I have, for the purposes of using it for broadcasting and doing shows, I know I needed quite a bit of RAM because Plan Mix Play is very, very resource hungry. It's not an optimized program. For anyone who doesn't develop software, know that it's a very standard process to develop a piece of software to do something, and once it does it, that's when you start making it do this exact same thing faster. That is just how development typically goes. You get it to do X, and then you get it to do X in a more efficient manner. So every piece of software out there pretty much has some optimization step or phase. The only reason that's perhaps become a bit less necessary in certain cases is because if you develop software almost entirely on top of middleware, that would be software that other people have developed for you to use. That middleware is usually optimized enough, so you don't really have to worry about optimization. But that usually means you are only able to do exactly what that middleware allows you to do. And since Plan Mix Play is a real-time video sort of editing, sort of production software, the middleware is not going to get me very far. In fact, even using a graphics user interface library like Qt is not going to cut it, because I need widgets and doohickeys to behave slightly differently, work with touch as well as with a mouse interaction, and the whole typical like Windows, what is it called, WIMP? Windows something mouse pointer, like, yeah, maybe it's Windows interface mouse pointer. I forget what the WIMP. You know what? This is professionalness here. Let me look up what the hell does WIMP stand for again. Windows Icons Menus Pointer. Right, that's the HCI acronym. And that's just no good. So I rolled my own, and that unfortunately means it's not super optimized, and there's more work to be done. And yada yada yada. Anyway. Dell machine. So I need a pretty capable machine, and one of the things that I wanted to get was a large amount of RAM in it, 32 gigabytes to be exact. And I was eyeing this machine about a month ago, I think around September, because it was 20% off, and I'm like, oh man, Dell laptops are not cheap, but I will be using it for at least 3 to 4 years, so it is worthwhile for me to splurge on this item, because I don't make a lot of expensive purchases often, and in this case I would really love to have that high-end machine. And so a month ago I decide, let's just wait till Black Friday, because it's it's pretty well known that Black Friday is a place where a big push is made to sell extra many units. And Immortal 32 gigs for a laptop is not, that is a bit, but yes, for a desktop. Anyway, getting back into it. So I look at it and I see that the product in question is 20% off, and I'm like, let's just wait another month, because I'm pretty sure come Black Friday they're going to further reduce it. Black Friday rolls around, Dell starts its sales, and I look online and it's still 20%. Oh well. I waited a month, no big deal. I then contact a customer care representative because I had a few questions about the product. And among some of the questions, I also asked this representative, hey, are the deals going to change? Like, is this the percentage that's going to stick, or are they going to further reduce the price? And I bet a couple of you already knows where this story is going, because the customer care representative says, nope, these are the deals, use it or lose it. It is what it is. And I go, okay, well, if they're not going to get any better, may as well order now rather than wait longer, because I want the laptop. I order it. Within a week, sure enough, the exact same product reduced by 30%. And when you buy a high-end laptop, 20 to 30% is not nothing. That's a not insignificant amount of savings. So I called Dell up, I talked to them, and the first person I talked to was like, oh yeah, that's probably no problem. We have a price matching strategy. Like, that's all. I'm sure we'll figure something out. Talk to the next person in line. Nope, we don't do price matching on Black Friday sales. And so I'm like, okay, so now what? Like, I'm not happy with this. And she's like, well, you can cancel your order. It's like, okay, so I can basically cancel and order it again? Yep. And look, it's not really a big deal in the grand scheme of things. I just like purchasing processes, online ones in particular, to go through a very easy, I see something, I buy something, I get something. Those are the 3 steps I'm interested in. This, I see, I buy, I find out that I've been misled, I cancel, I reorder, and then I get is, I'm not a big fan. And so what I've learned through this little adventure is, of course, do not necessarily trust the customer care representative to give you a straight-up answer about the sales that are ongoing. If they say the sales are not going to improve and you can afford to wait and see if they improve. But it's a happy ending, because when I waited and ordered the laptop again after confirming that I was in fact getting a full refund for the first canceled purchase, I found an offer code that got another 8% off. So in the end, it looks as though, fingers crossed, I mean, the laptop's not here, and just got an email telling me that, of course, it's been delayed, because fuck me, that it's going to be 38% off, which is not bad. And it's already, I get it, Dell wants to offload these machines because I think it's the previous generation of graphics cards. It's got the 2080 in there, and now there's already the 3080, and yeah. Technology ages quickly, and shit gets old fast. I think we'll save my I'll save my story about bad UPS experiences for later. And Immortal chimes in and says, Dell is notoriously bad with customer service. Well, I'll be honest and say, I don't think that their customer service here was terrible. Like, I got upset because the first person misled me. And that's shitty. Like, they shouldn't do that. But the customer care representative who handled the refund case, that went pretty easily. Like, within 3 to 5 days, my product had already been canceled and I got my money back. And of course, the biggest bummer to me is I would rather just have had them, what's the right word? Refund me the difference. Like, why don't you just refund me the 10% difference and then, ship that thing, ship that thing coming out anyway. But that's not how it worked out. And LP Chip chimes in and also says, Dell came out really bad in the Lies Tech Tips hidden camera video too. Yeah, look, I'm not here to defend giant corporations and say they are flawless. Like, that is, but at the same time, I wouldn't say beyond the design issues I had with the very first Dell laptop, like this, as long as I get the laptop and it isn't, busted on arrival, I'm a bit less worried about that. And yes, Maltus, it's a little bit of a rant, a mini rant here in the evening show. I'll save, if this rant is not really a rant, right? Because it's just, I had an issue, I contacted the company, they helped rectify the issue, there are certain consequences. At this stage, it's looking like I'm probably not going to get the laptop until the very end of the month, which, yeah, that's shitty, but what can you do? Like, I saved enough money that I would rather have it delayed for a couple of weeks extra and save that money. Let's play a request. I think it was, yes, as I said up front, Lord Evil. He wanted a bit of Infamous with Light Force, which I'm happy to play for you, Lord Evil. Glad to see you're tuning in. It's been a while. Please enjoy a bit of Light Force from Infamous. Little bit of infamous Light Force for Lord Evil. Thank you very much for requesting that, Lord Evil, and hey, thanks for tuning in. And as I said the last show, if you do want to see more of this, or also just want to support the development of Plan Mix Play, feel free to very gently put a finger on your mouse, hover it over the subscribe button, and just increase the weight on your finger ever so slightly until you accidentally slide the mouse off the table. And do the same for Slay Radio's YouTube channel as well. I was about to say Plan Mix Play channel. It's not a thing yet. I'm working on my new video sharing platform. That reminds me, there was an interview with the Vimeo platform, the owners of that, and I remember them looking back when it was basically them and YouTube, and ultimately Google opted to buy YouTube as opposed to Vimeo. And I remember the CEO basically in the interview going like, "Yeah, looking back at that, I don't think he expressed regret, but he was like, yeah, I sometimes I do wonder how would things have been if they had gone with Vimeo instead of YouTube, because obviously I think it's fair to say that the owners of YouTube probably got, fairly well compensated for their work, and Vimeo it's a platform, but it's not the platform. They are I don't know, I don't even know if they're double digits in terms of how much market share they have when it comes to video. I'm guessing it might be just a single digit. Unfortunately, that also means that YouTube is, being a bit of a dick. Like, them activating ads on tiny channels that don't have enough subscribers to monetize or earn money off the ads, I do think is shitty, because they are not, like, Google isn't hurting for money. Google is doing just fine money-wise. That sort of move, in my opinion, is just to appease shareholders and increase revenue. Like, that's what that's about. And speaking about being a big guy and treating people well, we were discussing a little bit about Dell. Apparently, Linux Tech Tips tested the customer service from Dell, and it didn't turn out very well, and apparently didn't turn out well again this year, or at least 2 years in a row, or so I'm hearing. And yeah, it sucks. Like, one of the few good things about the average consumer getting their own sort of bigger platform to speak on is that you get a little bit of you get more clout, but it works both ways. Like, I've also seen people who are monumentally entitled because they feel they have a platform to speak on, and that's a problem. Like, ultimately, in my opinion, how well you are serviced by a company should in no way be determined by how powerful or famous you are. And obviously, that's never going to happen. Like, this ideal is never going to happen. It'll always be somewhat reflective of if they, like, what is this company's expectation if they don't treat you well. And this is why we have consumer protection, because if there isn't any sort of pushback, if you don't have any way of dealing with a company when it does you rotten, the average consumer does not have the wherewithal or the resources to drag them to court. So we need this sort of push and pull, and it's nice to see that ethical and moral YouTubers exposing when a company isn't really treating its average customer well. But as I said before, it can also go too far. Like, all you need to do is to look at people's reviews. Like, if you look for Dell's headquarters here in Australia and look at how their reviews are, it's primarily 1-star reviews. And again, when your customer base is big enough, that's just how it's going to be. Like, people aren't going to give you 5 stars if they were satisfied. People will respond when they're salty, not when they're happy. So you always have to take whenever you see a large collection of 1-star reviews for something that is dealing with shipping things and physical items, don't take that for granted that the company is a piece of shit and will never service you right and is just there to rob you. If anything, it highlights how difficult it is to satisfy everyone. And again, I also won't reject or deny the stories people have mentioned here in the chat tonight that Dell can be real shitty, and I'm sure they can be. So I'm not advocating that you should go and buy for Dell. And no, I'm not. I won't. I'm not even going to say I wish I was sponsored, because I kind of like having an unsponsored show, at least for now. But anyway, they had the product that I felt would do the job. Ordered from them. Hopefully it'll show up, and we'll take it from there. I'm more concerned about the fact that they're going to be delivered with UPS, because I had a very bad experience with UPS getting my touchscreen shipped from Europe to Australia, which I think I'll leave until next time. In the meantime, quick note to Spavach, who says, "Oh, hi, Gazoo. Could I request an original Sid? If so, I'd love to hear Flex renditions of Celestial Fantasia. Kithics a lot." Unfortunately, I can't play original Sids, so unless you have it in a format of MP3, and it is getting a bit tight, Spavach, we may have to push that until next show, which at this stage I don't know when there's going to be, but I did promise to play a few more requests, so I'm going to go with Maltus, who wanted a bit of LP Chip with To Be On Top. And then we have a bit of Morty lined up as well. But let's start it off with LP Chip To Be On Top S2. LP chip with To Be On Top, which was not the version Maltus requested, but let's just say close enough. An Immortal, thanks for listening in, headed out, but thanks for sticking around. And LP chip asks if anyone knows if they actually built a Commodore 65. I don't even, is that a thing? I mean, there's a Commodore 128. It's been a while since I've kept up on the versions of Commodore stuff and how that all worked out. I remember I've read a couple of history books, and it is fascinating to see kind of what led to one version of another. In particular, Sega's history with their hardware I find very compelling, because they just, made some really, really big blunders in the process of working through their stuff. We're coming up on the end of the show, even though I do appreciate LP Chip saying that he'll stay up until I fall asleep or something. That's unlikely to happen, because it's 10 in the morning here. But we are going to wrap up soon, because as fun as this has been, I've found so many problems or bugs in Plan Mix Play that I would like to try and get to and polish off if I could, even though it's also Sunday. You gotta rest and relax every now and again. Can't all be work. You do have to take it off. And what I'm doing these days when I'm not socializing or having fun with my partner or something else, or working on Plan Mix Play, it's playing a bit of Hades. The game is Super Giant Games. They know how to make video games. Also, wanted to mention Frank, who asked for Ocean Loader, Martin Galway, the Shenlong mix. Even that remix is encoded with, I think, 48 kilohertz, which is a known issue in Plan Mix Play, that you cannot load these tunes. I should, in the near future, handle a conversion, but that's not something I can do right now, but I'll have to work on that. So right now it's, cannot play your request, wish I could, but I can play Berserk's request, which is likely to be the last of the evening before we get into our exit tune. And Berserk wanted a little bit of Morty in Your Bed. This would normally be a great exit tune, except I need a sort of longish one, because the credits do run on. Here's Morty. The way that you know a song is too short is if it ends even before I get a damn chance to update the stream title. Man, I really, really need to fix Play Mix Play updating the stream titles. Like, that is... I cannot... I've said it before and I'll say it again. I cannot overemphasize how fucking phenomenal it is to just have Play Mix Play update the stream title for me when it plays a song. Because it makes it accurate, makes it automatic. It's something I've come to rely on. So I'm always like at the end of the song, fuck, this was the thing we played. God. All right. Look, we're at the end. We're kind of already over time. I hope everyone who's been listening has enjoyed it. I am going to once again appeal to you and say, hey, if you want to subscribe on YouTube to either Slay Radio or Play Mix Play, feel free to do so. And if you don't want to do it, then don't do it. Like, that's you kind of like with, video games and movies, you vote with your dollars, and here you vote with your attention. If you give more attention to this, the show will keep growing. I cannot make any promises about when the next PMP Versus show will be. I think I can say pretty much probably promise there's not going to be another one until next year. So I will say Merry Christmas to everyone, or Happy Holidays, or how you prefer to hear it, as well as having a Happy New Year. But maybe I'll be around in some other capacity. Who knows? But yeah, as for PMP Versus, there's plenty of stuff to fix, and it's going to be a bit of a busy month for me. So but I've really enjoyed doing these two shows back to back. I don't know if I do another night and morning show this close. I could see myself being more inclined to do a morning and a morning show, because that would be 2 nights in a row here, giving me a bit of time to sort of fix and tweak things. But even so, it's been tremendously enjoyable. And if the credit sequence is anything like last time, then hopefully it should work as intended. Oh, I just realized, I think I know. Yeah, see, I just realized why the audio from the microphone might be breaking when I jumped around in the video. It has nothing to do with the video at all, but I think I know the problem. And I'm going to have to think about that, because that is annoying. Yeah, and LP Chip says Gazoo sees the light. Yeah, it's one of those things where you like, when you think about how the code works, eventually it dawns on you going like, yeah, that's why that would behave that way. Gonna have to think about that. Look, in the meantime, I appreciate all the kudos. Shargo, very kind of you. I'm glad that you guys have enjoyed the show. I feel like it's been a bit, some things worked well. Look, I think the video is a great addition. Like, I've always been a big fan of the video stuff, and I think the chat in the visual is really cool. I'll probably try and work on having it overlay on the video, because it's a bit of a bummer if you're chatting along and once any of the C64 video starts playing, you can't see the chat. So I think I'm going to come up with a way to sort of have my cake and eat it too there. And yeah, there's a bunch of stuff in the background that needs to be dealt with as well, especially this audio stuff not popping. So when the credits start rolling, it'll probably show that no songs were played at all. Pay no attention to that. But I have really enjoyed doing the show. I hope you've enjoyed listening along. Thanks again to Slagon. Oh, and especially also Ziona for doing a bit of last-minute phenomenal artwork for the shows. I'm so appreciative of that. And thank you all for tuning in. I hope you have a lovely December. I hope COVID is on its way out. It seems like the vaccines are here, so we're really, hoping for a more germ-free 2021, I say as I sneeze in the background. Wait. Yeah. Wait, no, sneezing. Oh, phew. Right, so, here we go. Thanks again for tuning in. I had a lovely time. Have a lovely evening. I'm going to let the credits sequence run, and I'm going to let you go out with this wonderful rendition by Skits and Moog. It's the final grooving synth sample one. Have a lovely day, evening, everybody. Goodbye.